Okay, so the title of the project is After This, and that's also your first single title. What came into play when you were thinking about the title and what you wanted the project to embody?
Well, actually, initially I was talking about naming the album Praise, Thanks, and Declaration because it was really, to me, an album of speaking in faith and, speaking in, what you want to happen, believe in God for what you know He's going to bring to pass. It was all that because initially what I did a month before I started writing for the record, I just started listening to T.D. Jakes' messages, and they were all dealing with faith and what we believe. So that was the initial title. But then so many people gravitate, when we put the single out, so many people really embraced the song After This that we kind of wanted to give them, make this the theme of the record, because at the end of the day, we wanted to encourage people and tell them that after what you're going through, after the struggle, there's going to be victory. So we named the album After This, even though it still embodies the whole message of faith and victory.
Wonderful. So you and Youthful Praise have been recording for over 10 years now, and how would you say you all have grown in this whole process?
Well, I think that initially when we first came out, we were just looking to sing. We weren't as concerned with the message as we are now. Okay. Initially, we were a choir, we were a church choir, and like church choirs, we were singing out of responsibility. Okay. Now we sing more for assignment because we know that we're encouraging. Our songs are to encourage people to uplift the body of Christ. I say all the time that some people know what their ministry is. Some people's job and some people's ministry is towards the lost or towards the secular world. Like there are people like Kirk Franklin and Mary who branch out and they minister to people outside of the church. I think our ministry is for the church because we don't want the believers to be forgotten when it comes time for ministry, because even though we have a relationship with God, we still get discouraged, we still go through situations. So our songs are to uplift the body and to encourage the body. So I think that initially we didn't know that assignment, but we know it now, and that's how we've grown.
Wonderful, and that's perfect segue to my next question, which is we're at a time where we're seeing the emergence of the pop sound in gospel music, and do you feel pressure to infuse that sound in your music or to utilize it? How do you feel about that?
Well, it's so funny. Initially, I kind of embraced it before it became as popular as it is now. Like with the Live the Praise the Worship record, there weren't really many choirs. I don't think there were any choirs at all that were doing that pop praise and worship type sound. So we embraced it. We went for it, and people were kind of at first a little turned off by it. So our original listeners, they were like, "What's going on? Y'all switching your sound?" But it was something that we were doing that's new. So there was a pressure after that to kind of stay there. But I think now, our audience just is willing to receive whatever we have as long as the message is right. But I think with this record, After This, I've tried to create more of a balance. So you'll find a lot more gospel on this record as opposed to the pop sound. I mean, we have a few songs, of course, because that's what we're known for. That's kind of, what we have been appreciated for it. We still have that there. But I tried to bring it back to give a few more gospel feeling songs as well, because that's how we started. And I don't ever want to lose that and lose that audience.
Wonderful. So do you feel like there's a song on the project that's going to be like a fan favorite, hands down?
At first there's a song called Grateful that, the night of the recording, we almost didn't get out of that song. People was worshiping. And they were singing that song all night. Yes. So I thought that would be the favorite. But from the people who are hearing the record so far, they're all gravitating towards a song called My King.
Yes.
And I'm shocked. It's kind of similar to the last record with Lord You're Mighty, where, a song you weren't really, not to say I wasn't thinking about it or checking for it, but it was just one of the songs we recorded.
Right.
So I'm really shocked that people are really loving the song My King, but I think it's because it has that gospel sound that we haven't put out, not that strong in a while. So it's kind of a mixture of both, because it still has the praise and worship message type of feel, but then it gets real churchy at the end. I think that's what people like about it. So I think that might be the favorite.
That nice mixture of
exactly.
So you had some great features on the project. When you were writing the songs, when you were putting them together, did you have any voices in particular in mind that you wanted on the project?
I think the only song I knew as soon as I heard it, because there's a song called Love Lifted Me, and I didn't write the whole song. There's a guy named Philip, I think it's Philip Thompson. He's one of the writers for the group Ashmont Hill.
Okay.
Awesome songwriter. He sent me a song and said, I think you'll like this, and I heard it, and right off the bat I thought about Ty Tribbett, because he has that whole rock worship type thing going, and I knew he would be able to pull it off the way we wanted to. And Ty and I have been talking about doing a song together for years. Never found the right way to make it happen, because he was with this label, we were with this label. There's always that thing going on. At this time, we were like, forget the labels, let's do the song. We'll worry about all that later. Yeah. So we did it, and it just came out great. That was another song the night of recording that was just crazy. So that's the one song I knew I had to have a certain lead for. And then as we were going, the song Lord of All, it has that Brooklyn type East Coast feel, and because Bishop Hezekiah Walker almost, I'm not gonna say he started the sound, but he made it popular. Yeah. So I felt like he had to lead that song, because it was almost a tribute to what he's accomplished in gospel music.
Wonderful. And lastly, in thinking about Youthful Praise and what you all want your legacy to be and what the future of the group is, what would you say that is?
I want the legacy to be that we were one of the first praise and worship choirs. I think that, praise and worship has, of course, been for the praise teams, and there was a choir years ago called Saints in Praise that was directed by Judy McAllister and Norman Hutchins. They were doing praise and worship back in the day, but it was kind of like a churchy praise and worship. What I really want to do is really stay true to form, pop praise and worship without the cultural barriers, but still have the choir sound. And that's what I really wanted to make happen. I think we did it. So I want to make sure we keep that, but I also want to make sure people know that we are a choir. I mean, we do take less singers out. We'll take 9, we'll take 10. That's because of travel and people having families. Not because we want to have a group. I want to have a choir because we live in a day where that's kind of fading out. But I'm at 2 churches now, and choir sound is so important. The church I'm at in Connecticut, there is no praise team. There's just a choir. The choir sings the praise and worship songs. The choir sings the choir songs. Okay. So it's important that we, as choir directors and choir leaders and writers, keep that sound going, because there are ministers of music that need the music. Absolutely. So that's the one thing I want to make sure people know about us, that we were a choir in the beginning, and we're still a choir now.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Wonderful time talking with you.
Thank you, Kai.